What's going on, everybody? This is Chuck Creekmer at One World Studios for allhiphop.com, and we have the legendary, incomparable Johnny Gill. What's going on, brother?
I always wanted to be a rapper.
I used to listen to you, and I don't want to date you, but I'm dating myself too. But when I was a younger man,
yeah, we're only 25.
yeah,
It's
25, 26.
I wouldn't be ashamed to tell our age.
Right.
25. It's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Right, definitely. Now, you have a brand new album called Game Changer 2.
Yeah.
Very classic R&B.
Man, we're missing it. We need it.
Mhm.
There's a void, and I'm just trying to do my part in making a contribution to making sure people understand the importance of R&B music. That's rhythm and blues. That's where it all started, and
Yeah.
I feel that it's important, man, to just uphold that. And am I going? People think that what I'm doing is something incredible because of cutting through and being able to get this music through here and being successful with competing, on those charts and all those things. But the reality is, is just that it's needed and there's a place for it and a need for it, and people are just making their voice heard. I know through my music right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any pressure to try to do something out of your lane, so to speak, to compete?
No. That's the thing that I do. I find that is important. Even when you listen to the Game Changer 2 album, Game Changer 1 album went for 4 years. 6 singles, one to number one, and all top 10 records.
Yeah.
Every one's top 10. Game Changer 2, our first single, went to number one. There's Soul of a Woman. And we're on schedule, looks like on track here for Perfect, which is the song with me and Ralph to go number one. It's already 3 weeks in, and it's already in the top 20. So it's just been a blessing. But I don't look at it as pressure. When you listen to the album, there's, even from a musical standpoint, I have worked with Carlos Santana and Sheila E. And that's a complete departure from what you normally hear from me, but never compromising who I am or what I do as a singer. I just allow everything else to come and be built around me. But I'm a musician who I'm inspired by so many different genres of music. So you're going to hear, when you hear Game Changer 2, it surpasses Game Changer 1 because I stretched out a lot. But yet at the end of the day, from a musical standpoint, artistically, but I never wavered on who I am and what I do and compromise what I do.
Yeah. Now, you're what we call a sanger. A sanger. Meaning, when you came to New Edition, you brought that to the game.
That singing thing?
Yeah. I remember I used to say, when we were in school, I used to draw a lot. We used to talk about nothing but music all the time. Right. And I was like, man, this dude really, he's putting how when the athlete's running top speed, he's putting everything that he is into his sprint. That's how I felt about you as a singer.
I was hungry.
Yeah.
I was hungry as hell.
Right. Probably, literally, huh?
Yeah. I come from church. My dad was a minister. God rest his soul. But for me, I still to this day, sick or not, good force or not, tired or not, when I put the mic in my hand, I go like there is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't take it for granted. Even early on in my career, I understood the gift and the blessing, the anointing. So I never took it for granted. That's why I've been, I think, so fortunate that of not seeing and falling prey to what I've seen a lot of other people fall prey to with drugs and all those other things. I understood the sense of strength that God had given and what it meant and what it means. And I wanted to take care of it.
Yeah, definitely. You have been one of the few artists that have been able to navigate through all the seasons, many years in the game. We're going back to Stacey Lattisaw, New Edition, then when you worked with Sweat. Yeah, absolutely. What is your secret sauce?
No secret. I was always determined to never let one man determine my destination. I understand working as a solo artist, working with group, it's a balance. of learning how to play and be with be a team player, and then as a solo artist, giving me an option to be able to express myself artistically without having to ask anyone for any amount of approval to be able to do things. So it's like it allowed me to grow and be balanced, and to work with others as well, which is important to do, because a lot of times when you look at artists and people that are in need, they have to have the attention. They have to have it for whatever the reasons are. But for me, I'm never been one that hunger for look at me, give me the attention.
Right.
I just do what I do because I know I've been blessed. But at the end of the day, I know how to get and work with others, and still find my way and do what needs to be done without having this level of insecurity of feeling that I need to have some sense of approval. You know.
Okay.
But I just it's like, whether it's LSG, whether it's New Edition, it's Heads of State, which was myself, Bobby, and Ralph, to just me individually. I just learned over the years to continue to keep recreating yourself and reinventing yourself and doing things that will allow people to see you in different forms.
Right.
Because that's what the business that we're in, and to not be pigeonholed and become just one-dimensional.
Right.
Is important. It was important for me. And that was my goal. But most importantly, having different outlets to always have other ways a means of being able to make a living, giving me options that it allowed me to never have to succumb to dealing with issues or dealing with people, and feeling like I'm at the mercy of somebody.
Right.
So if the record company was acting up and they wasn't doing the right thing, I can go, I'll get with y'all later. Y'all want to sue me? Y'all want to go to court and deal with that for years? However many, gotcha. See y'all in a minute, but I'm going to go to work.
Right.
I have options.
Definitely.
And that's what it's important to do when you're in this game, in this business, all the way around. Create options.
Wow. That's a jewel. That's a jewel. How was it working with Tiffany Haddish, and how did you get her in your video?
I've been knowing Tiffany for years.
Okay.
And, the thing that I always tell people, everybody, is be careful how you treat people. Because I remember when she was first starting, Tiffany got and still gets treated the same way that I've treated her from the day I met her. And people like that, I remember when Chris Spencer, who directed the video, it was his idea to get Tiffany. I was like, you ain't getting no Tiffany right now. Tiffany's hot. She's the hottest thing in Hollywood right now. Right. And so that was his call, and he called her, and she was like, "You shoot for Johnny? I'll do anything." Yeah. And that's because I've always given her that level of respect, even when she was on her way up and starting. Always treated everyone. Try to treat people, because you don't know who you're going to need somewhere down the line, and it's not just because of that, but it's just that's just who I am. Yeah. People laugh at me because I know the trash man to the president. And everybody gets treated the same. Yeah. I check on everybody. Everybody's okay. Your family's good. You okay? Good. And it's a thing that I do because I've been taught that early on as a kid, to take care of your family and your friends and even your extended family. So,
dope. Yeah, very cool. I have a confession. When I listened to the album, it almost sounded foreign to me. Which one? I say that the new one.
Oh, the new one, yeah. And
I say that because I think we've become accustomed to a whole completely different type of R&B.
Yeah.
It was so much love in it, so much caring, so much doting. And I was like, wait, this sounds like almost like another language.
Yeah.
What is your viewpoint on the state of R&B music? I mean, across the board. I mean, not just the new stuff, but across the board.
R&B is always, for a long time, it didn't, but it used to be. But for many, many years, has been at the bottom of the totem pole. You look at a lot of the award shows and the big ones. As you can see, R&B is most of the time, their category is not even really televised.
Yeah,
it's everything derives from rhythm and blues, and it's a trip to watch how it has gotten to a point where, honestly, I can't even get on Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Ellen. The list goes on of people you can't get on, not because the music is not great, but they just don't respect ours. They just don't. And so unless you're the hot ones, and you got to be on that level, obviously, like the Kanyes and those kind of guys. And it's just that I've not just this album, but even on the last album, having the challenge of going, hey, we want to we just want to perform our songs. And think about it. You see how many, look at those shows every night and look and see how many acts on there do you know? And some of the music that they're displaying. And it's not let's just be clear, not angry or not bitter or mad at them because everybody deserves to display their talent. But everybody. Right. Not just some. And it's like, when you talk about millions of records, 36 years plus, numerous awards, Grammy nominee, all the things that comes with going, even if I'm not really sure about that music, we know his body of work says it all, speaks it all. There's somebody in this audience that would probably appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But it just doesn't happen that way. And it's okay because it hasn't stopped me from having packed houses, haven't stopped me from getting to the top of the charts. And it hasn't stopped the fans from listening and buying my records. So at the end of the day, I'm grateful.
Okay.
Grateful.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple hot seat questions. I look at late night TV and I've seen people I never heard of, never seen before, never heard before. And some of them are singers.
Yeah.
Is there an agenda here? Some of the Blue-Eyed Soul singers, I mean, honestly, to be keeping it real, they kind of get fast tracked to those platforms. And I always wondered why, how, and is there a bigger picture? Because let me go back a couple years. You would see some of these guys. I'm not a fan of them, so I'm not even going to name check them. But but they seem to just be so prominent, and it makes me think about the larger state of Black culture.
Yeah, but the thing that I've realized honestly is, if the Blue-Eyed Souls people are inspired by us, which that's where it comes from, and they're able to do it or want to do it, I think that without a doubt, and they have a great talent, they need to be acknowledged as well. Music really should not have any color lines. It really shouldn't.
Right.
It's just the industry itself that began to categorize and put every music and style of music in a different genre, and it has its own whatever. And the thing that I've often said about great music, hit records, they have some type of magic that resonates with people. And I don't care who it is or what it is you're doing or whether you know them or whether you don't. When you find that a great record starts to catch on and starts to connect with people, there's some level of a magic in it. Yeah. And to have it to go, okay, this is where the magic has to stop, only with this audience. Yeah. I feel that is unfair. I think that the world really should be able to identify music without color. Yeah. But unfortunately, the world that we live in, that's not the reality.
Yeah, and I'm not. And again,
and I get it. I get it. But for them, I'm never mad at them. I think that it's great that what we do have inspired so many. I just think that it is just up to the powers that be to begin to recognize that the power that we've had in the R&B world, and that it has inspired so many people. Look at the Blue-Eyed Souls, and the list goes on of people that try to do or are inspired by our music, and you can hear it where the influence comes from. So it is what it is, but the reality is just that we got to keep going, keep fighting, keep grinding. And the thing that I've often said about many things about people is that it's when I look at people, I don't get the thing about the word jealousy that I was talking to some of my friends about was, what belongs to God gives to someone belongs to them. And if we look at them and think that we should have what they have, then that's not what God intended for us. Yeah. We have to look and see people and see the things that they're doing and be inspired. And that's the thing that I look at, even with the Blue-Eyed Soul. Remember, that's when they're up there and they're doing and they're thriving, it's like I'm looking going, they've set the bar here, I'm trying to reach that bar. Yeah. I'm inspired, but I don't look at them and tell them, I don't think you deserve to have that or be there, because they do. Everybody, God gives us all, and he loves us all and gives us all these blessings and gifts, and they should be used if you have them to the greater gift, for the greater use.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to be clear. I'm not dissing those.
Oh no.
I love Tina and we go all the way back with it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
it's that Michael. I do a mean Michael McDonald impersonation. Mean.
Oh yeah, you one time. Come on.
What a fool believe. Yeah, I was a little off there. I did it before. I was spot on.
I love Michael McDonald.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Still doing it.
He's still out there rocking.
He
Yeah.
did a whole. No, he did a song. I'm sorry. He did a song with a guy named Thundercat. So when you look him up, Thundercat comes up.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. If you
Yeah.
if you type in Michael McDonald, that Thundercat song will come. It's like a couple years
It's
ago.
so many of the greats that were great, like Batman, Kenny Loggins. And
Yeah.
I even love Kenny Rogers. The list goes on of great talent. People that But Michael McDonald was like the ultimate.
Right.
He was
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I used to go, is that a black man singing? Oh, he must got on makeup.
No, he's authentic. Now let's talk. You got Ralph on the album. What's I gotta go to it. What's New Edition status?
Well, I've said before, New Edition and everybody's went out and doing what they're doing. We have a group that has had issues and internal issues since we've started, and it ain't stopped. You've seen the story. I don't think it's no secret. Look at the story. Tells you all you need to know. We've all have had our different ways of how we think and what we think is right and not right, our agreements or disagreements. The story about the Ralph and I taking the name and owning the name. Yes, we do own the name, and we own the name because we got the name from for the heads of state, and the lawyer said that name was out there. I told him to grab that, and I told him what we will do is we'll sit down with the guys and get everybody to sign an agreement so that there would be no one individual. There's not a vote that no one individual could use the name New Edition. It will always be all of us collectively. And in doing that, little known to us, it turned into a complete fiasco where it turned into, well, who are you and who are y'all and what are y'all doing with the name? And what I did, if you look at what happened with the Temptations, they got 3 or 4 or 5 different Temptations out there. But what happens if I put everybody's name on immediately, we wouldn't have the power to be able to say, let's all collectively make an agreement that no one individual could use the name. So that it'll always be the only New Edition. And upholds the integrity and the value of New Edition.
Right.
Because if we put it on there and everybody has a right to use the name New Edition without the agreement, what happens is everybody can go out and do their own New Edition version. Yeah. And we always wanted to keep the value and the integrity of this group at the level that it deserves to be for our fans. It turned into a complete nightmare because it was nothing but simply, everybody agree and let's sign an agreement that allows us to do so. Where it went left and turned into all this other stuff, I have no idea. I was looking and seeing, well, they took the name and Johnny's the new guy that came in and blah, 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 he's the last. And I'm just sitting there going, contrary to popular belief, I've been a member of New Edition longer than Bobby Brown.
Wow.
So we all have made a contribution to this group and to this entity, and it should be upheld not only for us and our families, but even for our fans, so that our fans don't want to see 4 or 5 different versions of a New Edition. Yeah. So I thought that it was important that it protects everybody. Yeah. And it turned into a complete fiasco of what y'all trying to control and trying to do this, and it's like, and here's your kicker: New Edition never owned their name ever. Right. So to find it, get the name, and to grab it, and to try to do it where it's set in proper place business-wise for everybody, I thought that would be the right thing to do.
It makes sense to me.
And but it didn't turn out that way, making sense to many others. And to attack us and to do what they did, we had to sit back, like I told Ralph. I said, this ain't our battle. Yeah. This ain't our battle. When you're doing the right thing, the truth will prevail. And, let God handle, let go and let God. And that's what we did. Okay. And will we move forward at some point? This group has been through ups and downs and agreements and disagreements for 30-something years, and we've always seemed to find our way back at some point. So I've said that before, and I'll say it again. That's only up to God, and we let go and let God. And He got that and got control of it. I don't know when and how, when it happens or if it happens, but I'm okay with whichever way it goes. So
you are okay. You're at the top of the charts. So you're good. No disrespect to anyone else, of course.
It's a fact.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I see you, player. I see. All right. So I have another hot seat question for you. Yeah. All right. So, how do I say this? This is a tough one for me because I don't usually do this, but okay, I'll put in some context. Black Girls Rock was the other day, and trans women got very angry because there was no inclusion. Your album has a lot of dedications to women. Yeah. Is it inclusive?
Is it inclusive? My album is not inclusive. My album goes through. Remember, it's not. I'm the message is for women, but it's even for guys. So even the trans got to be either a woman or a guy, whatever they are, to understand how to love, respect, and look at themselves, to embrace who they are, embrace the imperfections, to recognize is that what makes us who we are. And it doesn't matter who it is that's listening and hearing the message.
Right.
The message never changed.
Right.
It should resonate with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's what truth does.
Right. True.
It resonates with everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that answer. I liked the album too, but I don't think you're being honest on the album.
Why?
You said you don't get tired. And you talk about going all night.
Oh, bed on fire.
And I'm like, hold up, Johnny Gill. Hold up. We getting up there, bro. I'm like, now, okay, now my
Listen, man, I swear to you, at 53 years, this might be too much information, but at 53 years of living, and I still go hard. As a matter of fact, when the wind blows, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, man. And I don't know. I'm thinking, is it normal for at this stage of my life or at a 53-year-old? I don't know. But I got issues.
Right.
Jesus Christ, I got issues. But I'm a single man.
Right.
Who dates. And let me just tell you, it's like, man, it's, I put in the work.
I hear you.
Because,
Yeah.
this is what it is. And I'm enjoying my life. Like, I enjoy
Right.
being able to just be free. And,
Word.
and I love it. But, I mean, I hold it down. I can hold it down maybe twice a night.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Hey.
everybody ain't able.
Right.
Just saying I am.
You blessed. But the one thing people don't realize is you get if you maintain, you get better with time.
Oh, you get better with time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and it's all here, emotional as well too.
Right.
What you appreciate, what turns you on about a woman that can make things just go to a whole nother level. And I try to look at not just from the physical, but also inside there, the intellect. It's a number of things that I can appreciate.
Now this life has changed. I mean, when I went to school, we danced like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't go below the waist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of rules. You couldn't do certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the same, and to some extent applied to the music. R&B started to break out a little thanks to hip hop, I think.
Yeah.
Even though some people were going kind of more raunchy.
All right.
With the ladies, who's your fan base? Is it the aunties now? Is it, or do the young girls, women? I should not on no R. Kelly stuff. The young women, do they approach you? How's the fan base looking?
Man, we get them all. We get them all. And it's so funny because sometimes you look and you just laugh and you go, bless your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I could be your daddy.
Right. Yeah.
But I love it. I love the fact that what we're doing has resonated and it connects with, and that's why I said something about a great song, music, it's a hit, that it can resonate with anybody. I've seen little babies. I just watched on social media little babies singing songs that they just sitting there looking. They don't know who the hell I am. They just, the song immediately can connect with them, and they're taking, the parents are taking pictures watching them sing a song.
Yeah.
That they don't have to. You can't hold a gun to their head and force them to sing something they don't like.
Right. Yeah.
It just goes to show you, like I was saying, that great music should be able to, and everybody should have a fair shot at being able to resonate, or for everybody to be able to enjoy it and listen to it without these lines that are drawn. But it is what it is. It's a business. And people tend to think that I'll target my audience. This audience like this type of music. This is what it's going to be. We don't play this kind of music. Got it, understood. But great music crosses all barriers, and it should, especially hits.
All right. How do you feel about hip hop's influence on R&B?
It's all a part of the same, falls under the same category, really. Things that the R&B music has sprung on so many different genres of music, from disco to to the blues to even contemporary music. that we deal with, pop music that we deal with, it all comes from there. It all derives from it. I don't care how you chop it up. Hip hop as well, and it has its own identity as well. But it all still comes from and derives from soul. Right. It does. And I listen on the album, the new album, Game Changer 2. There's a song called "The Best Thing." It's straight hardcore hip hop with me singing almost like it's a ballad, because it's me paying the highest compliment to women, and that was the saying, "The best thing about me is you." Yeah. And it's still, but when you hear the freaking track and you're just like this, oh, shoot, okay. But I'm still not compromising what I do. Right. I'm not trying to act like I'm a hip hop artist. I'm not doing anything. I'm inspired by hip hop, and so I did something where it's allowed me to be able to do what I do, and yet still you'll feel the influence. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah. Now in hip hop, there's a raging debate always called top 5 dead or alive. Who your top 5 rappers are? For you, what would be your top 5 dead or alive R&B singers?
Donny Hathaway.
Why?
Luther Vandross.
Tell me why for Donny.
Donny Hathaway was a guy that when he opens his mouth, every single note you could feel the presence of something that guy was going through. To learn his history, and when he actually committed suicide, it's like you could hear in his music where he was and how much the struggle and the pain and I mean, it's like. And I often said, if that's what it takes to be in this game and to be that kind of an artist, I'm gonna pass. I'm cool.
Right. Yeah.
But I think his pain really impacted so many people's minds as well as an artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't in vain. But love Donny Hathaway.
Okay, and Luther?
Luther Vandross, one of the greatest storytellers I think on the planet.
Absolutely.
When it comes down to painting the picture, and telling a story in a song, no other greater, with tones and how his phrasings and the things that he did. He's a master. Right. He was a master, and forever will be missed.
And who else? Got 3 more.
Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh yeah.
Teddy, I grew up on watching ladies going crazy over here. I'm thinking that's what I want to do. Yeah. That's how I want my music, and that's how I want my audience, how I wanted them to react. Teddy was raw. Straight raw. Teddy didn't have a large range and falsettos and all that stuff. He was just straight to the point, pure, raw vocalist. And if you wanted to get the night right, you didn't have no other option. It was real clear. I know I better bring my Teddy collection with me.
Right, definitely.
And then there's Stevie Wonder.
Oh my God.
He's a dear friend. He's like my brother. I grew up watching him. Still to this day, I tell everybody I've had many accolades. The greatest reward in my life of doing this, being in this business, has been knowing Stevie and him being a part of my life and now part of a family. Who would have thought as a kid growing up watching this guy that someday this would be my brother?
Amazing.
And some days still when we're talking and I probably don't want to hear the kind of stuff we talk about. Because
I heard about Steve.
Yeah. Sometimes his mouth ain't that clean.
Right. It ain't all ribbon in the sky.
Oh my God! Let me tell you, there's nothing like. Sometimes we're just talking stupid and crazy. Yeah. And you get off. Sometimes just get off the phone and it'll hit me still after all these years. Yeah. Of being and knowing him, and I'm just like, frick, that's Stevie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like every now and then it dawns on me, like, and that's my brother.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's probably my greatest reward out of being in this business, of having him and knowing him and having a mentor who tells me the truth, who's so aware of life and things and continues to keep me and makes me have to be aware.
Yeah, we got to wrap him in bubble wrap. Keep him in the bubble wrap.
Yes, that's my heart.
All right, you got one more.
And there's another great on the planet here to me. Oh, you said dead or alive?
Either
dead
one.
or alive. Wow. Wow. I'd have to say Jeffrey Osborne, who was also a heavy influence on me and my career when I even first got started. Yeah. He had always been one that showed me about business, writing, and owning your publishing, the things that you need to do. I mean, he was that guy that was a mentor, and I've known him since I was 14, 15 years of age. So it's been truly a blessing knowing him as well. But he's another one that has still to this day sounds like Jeffrey's, I think 70 in his 70s or somewhere, and sounds like he's still 21. Always took care of himself, and he's been an inspiration to me.
Rapper Nas has a song called Jarreau of Rap. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Al Jarreau. Oh Lord, see,
I love Al Jarreau too.
He was losing it.
Al was.
I don't know why my brain went from Jeffrey Osborne to Al Jarreau.
Al Jarreau.
Who knows?
Morning just on a radio.
Yeah, right.
I need to tell you that everything doing is fine.
Oh, spot on. Oh shoot. Speaking of impersonations, and this is not the best segue, but you've started acting.
Yeah,
you're in a Samuel L. Jackson movie coming.
That was Sam because he was beating up, taking all my damn money that he wanted me to do this movie, probably so he could take some more of my money. Right. So he was doing this musical movie called Spinning Gold, and he was saying, "I think you ought to look into it and be in this movie, man, because it's a musical." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "For real?" So that was him doing that. And nice. Sam Jackson, that's my other heart. That's my right hand. Yeah. Man, we played golf every morning and fight from the beginning all the way to the end. Yeah. It's me and him. And there's nothing I look forward more every morning waking up and when I'm home is going to fight with him in the mornings. But he is just, let me tell you this, the funniest, probably one of the funniest guys on the planet.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I love him to pieces.
Does he curse as much as they say?
I told him my mama didn't name me MF. Right. My name is Johnny. Right. Just for the record. Right. Hit the ball, motherfucker. Right. I'm like, leave me alone.
Right. Oh man, I can't imagine those combos.
No one greater than my Sam though.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about your philanthropic stuff? I was told you're deep into that now.
I've always been. Yeah. I always feel uncomfortable talking about it because I don't do what I do simply because I do it because I want a pat on the back. I do it because God has always blessed me, and He blesses us not to keep those blessings for ourselves, but to bless others. And so there's a number of things and people that I touch and do and help with different things that I don't make no qualms about it, nor do I look for anything because it's not for that reason. And that's why it makes me feel uncomfortable talking about. I mean, I work with kids with autism, to people with the cancer, to whatever the case is and the cause I'm in. I try to do what I can because I find that that's important. Yeah, it's important that we do give back and do what we do. So, but
so not for the Instagram looks and likes.
No, not at all. And God knows if you went back to see my track record of all the people that I've been involved with and things that we've done, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not for that. It's not for any other reason besides it's doing it because it's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And being obedient.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wrapping up, what would you say is your greatest achievement? I mean, your career is so remarkable. It's hard to put that into one interview, but what would you say, your proudest moment is? Or
currently being the owner of my own label. Many people are doing it now because it's the end thing to do. Not many have been successful at it because they didn't go through the school of knocks to recognize what it takes to get this and do what I'm doing to be successful at doing this. Right. It's a number of things, a lot of different components that comes with what I do. But I remember the very first Game Change album being on the call with our business partners and the distribution company, and they were saying that, well, we don't normally do 3 singles off of an album, but we can't tell you that you can't do it because you're not our artists. We're only business partners, right. And it is totally up to you, which allowed me to have an album to go 6 deep 4 years later. And they took a ride, but they seen the end results of putting in the work, grinding, a hugely successful independent album. Right. And being in control, because as an artist, when you make great music, you want the world to be able to get a fair shot at listening to it. Labels, I realize, because I'm now a record label owner, they have to put out volumes. Why? Because that's how they have to keep their lights on. They can't solely rely on one album. They got to keep throwing them out there to keep the lights on, to keep the stuff selling and making money. So I get it, understood. But as an independent label and as I move forward, I got Ralph coming out on my label, and
Oh, wow.
any artist that I do sign, I don't want to get too big that you can't focus and give every artist that put together, that goes through the work, and put together a great product, to not allow them and allow the fans to be able to get to them to enjoy it. And remember, times has changed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Labels used to, people used to wait for your music to come out, and there was a number of things used to happen. And now times has changed. People got too many options. The way they listen to music now is not just by radio. So it takes longer to connect all the dots and the pieces. And so my philosophy as an owner, as a CEO, is that I'm not on nobody's clock. I'm not looking at how a single that's been out for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 weeks or months and go, okay, well, now it's time to get ready for a new one. I understand the process of taking your time, allowing things to get there, allowing the jury to get it in their hands, and they have the final decision. So that's how I've operated, and that's what happened with the last one, and what we want to do, continue to do with this album. Take our time, put it out there, understand that people got a lot of different ways to hear music. So sometimes they won't hear it for a year or so later. They go, you got a new album out? You go, no, it's been out 2 years.
Yeah.
So that truly tells you how people are constantly moving in the different ways that they enjoy music now. So you have to take your time.
Well, I got to ask you about having Ralph on your label. I mean, I didn't expect that curveball to come out.
Yeah.
How is it, working with someone in that capacity, artists, the relationship between artists and CEO or whatever label head is a unique one. It's different.
It's unique. But what I'm doing with Ralph is something, because that's my little brother. I wanted him, because he never nurtured his career like we did, all the rest of us in here. And what I wanted him to do, I told him, is we're never going to try to come back and capture or catch or get yesterday, because it's gone. We can embrace who we are, where we are today, and build from there. And he has a track record of being able to make great records and great hit songs. And wherever that leads to, we'll accept. But that's a part of just getting back in there and doing what you want to do as an artist, being able to express himself. But I wanted to teach him, and I'm trying to do it by example. Not only him, I wanted to do it. I asked the guys, the group, the New Edition as well, before I started the label. Let's create our own label. Everybody kind of looked at me and snugged their shoulders and was like, So I did it. But I was teaching him that, and want to teach him the ultimate goal of doing this is, I want him to own his masters. I want him to own and be on top of his business, to continue to understand that as we get older, nobody's giving us anything. If you want it, you better go and get it.
Yeah. Ooh. Rap right there. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming to One World Studios.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and joining us at All Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Salute, big time.
Yo, what's up? This is your boy Johnny Gill, and that's right, I'm in the building, kicking it with all hip hop. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know I always wanted to be a rapper, right? Y'all want me to spit a couple of bars? Yeah. Psych.